It's like you're an animal, right? The dog wants to go on a walk. It's like, go, bring me outside. Let's do it. Kind of how I feel often now. I'm being confined to the computer, confined to the freaking chair. It's like, let me go. And if that's a side effect, it's one that I like. It's one that maybe the entire world needs. Yo, so this video has been a long time coming. I was waiting to get my blood work back. If you follow along, you'll see that I was in California last weekend. Not this past one, but the one before that. You'll also know that I've been working with California hormones. As far as I know, and I'm sure I would have been disproven at this point, somebody would have said something somewhere, but I am the first CrossFitter to openly admit that they're using performance-enhancing drugs. I am doing so through California hormones with the help of a doctor, with prescriptions. I'm on testosterone at 200 milligrams per week, and I have been doing that since the beginning of September. I initially made my first trip to California on August 23rd, 2022. Maybe it was the weekend before that, August 23rd, but they ran the blood work on the 23rd. I made a video on that saying that my testosterone levels were at 733 nanograms per deciliter. And I caught some shit for that because by all means, that is a pretty healthy testosterone level for a male at the age of 30, which I was when I got all that taken. I want to optimize my hormones. That's the entire point here. I want to feel better. I want to be a fucking truck.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
My first video that I ever put out was CrossFit and steroids. In there, I made mention that this stuff was scary to me. In 2019 or so, maybe 2020, I became obsessed with figuring out just about everything that there was with performance-enhancing drugs, and I'm sure that everybody has that thing. Maybe it's puzzles, maybe it's calligraphy, maybe it's knitting. I don't know. Everyone has something that they become obsessed with. For me, it was understanding what things do, who might be using it, why they can get away with it, and that entire story. But you might already know that about me. You'll also know that there was a fear factor in relation to it with me because I have an addictive personality. Someone gave me shit for plugging C4. I'm not sponsored by C4, but I do think that I am addicted to caffeine. Every single day, first thing in the morning, I take 2 scoops of pre-workout like my coffee, just because I like to do it, whether or not I'm working out. That's not really healthy, and I know, but I also don't want to stop. I tried stopping for a month and I didn't like how I felt. To me, that sounds like I'm addicted to caffeine. And for the longest time, I had that fear about testosterone, and I wanted to make sure that when I started doing this, I was ready to do it for the rest of my life for the reason that I was sure that I would enjoy it. And goddamn, do I enjoy it. And what do I mean by that? 2014 is about when I started doing CrossFit. 2013 maybe. And up until that point, like everybody, pretty extensive sporting career. I was a shitty swimmer, and then I was a shitty wrestler, and then I was a washed up regional CrossFit athlete, right? And while I might not have the accolades of someone like a Rich Froning or a Matt Fraser, I do feel as if I knew myself pretty well, and I felt like I had accomplished just about everything that I could. I did 35 unbroken ring muscle ups. My best lifetime snatch is 291 pounds. I did the cold showers. I had the whoop on. I knew what my HRV was every freaking second of the day until they changed the freaking algorithm. I tried to get 8 hours of sleep a night, 10 hours of sleep. How did it feel compared to having 6 or 7 hours of sleep a night? I tracked my macros. I ate different diets, more fat, less fat, more carbs, less carbs. How's 200 grams of protein versus 275 grams of protein? How do I perform at a body weight of 185 pounds versus a body weight of 195 pounds? What are the things that I want to do to make those things happen? I'm sure I'm missing some things, but I tried to do every single thing, and I knew how those things affected me. And not one single thing that I mentioned or I could mention compares to the benefits that I've experienced while using testosterone. I mentioned that my testosterone levels in August 23rd, I believe I stated the date was 733 nanograms per deciliter. Well, last weekend I had my blood pulled again. The date is October 15th. My birthday was on the 5th, so I'm now 31 years old. I was 30, now I'm 31 years old, and as a 31-year-old, my testosterone reads 1,053 nanograms per deciliter, which is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. Right under 1,100 was the goal. Clinical data states that as a male, you can be anywhere from 300 to 1,100 nanogram per deciliter. That's the reference range, and I wanted to be right underneath the top of the reference range. So at 200 milligrams per week, injected on a Sunday evening and a Thursday morning schedule, so twice a week, I'm right where I need to be. Here and there, I've made mention on the Sevon podcast, some of the things that I'm experiencing. One of the biggest things is facial hair. You'll remember that I had the mustache for a couple of the videos, and this just grew right back out. I've got body hair, so I shaved all of the hair on my body because I noticed that it was getting kind of long, and it's all back. Like, I got chest hair again. Those aren't negatives to me. They might be to some people, but they're not to me. I don't care.
It doesn't matter!
I gotta take the clippers to my face a little bit more often. And even if you were to consider those negatives, the positives far outweigh those things. The biggest thing is I mentioned that when I traveled to California, I went to bed at 2:30 because I was making a video kind of late. My flight was leaving at a time where I had to wake up at 5, so I had 2.5 or 3 hours of sleep. When I got there was things scheduled, boom, 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 boom. Go to this lab and get this done. Go to that lab and get this done. Have a lunch here, go work out there, situate yourself at the place that you're staying. You know the drill. Wait for Sousa to get there. Sousa shows up at 10:30. So at this point in time, I ran on 3 hours of sleep, and it was 18 or so hours later, and I was just good to go. As good as I am right now. And then I slept like a baby that night, woke up, and it's as if nothing had ever happened. That is not something that I could say would have also been the case if I was not doing this. When I was coaching at the affiliate, there were many days that I had to wake up at 5 a.m. I like to wake up an hour before the 6 a.m. class were to start. And if I were to not go to sleep before 10:30, the entire day was fucked. It was a lost day. I had to figure out a time where I could take a nap, and if I didn't take a nap, I also didn't want to work out, because if I worked out, the workout was terrible. Andrew, go do snatches at 80%. 80% felt like 95%. I was afraid of missing that number. Go hold this pace on the rower for this workout. The pace was unsustainable because everything was out of whack because I hadn't slept long enough. Insert testosterone replacement therapy. That isn't an issue. When you don't sleep properly, plenty of data will state that your testosterone level will drop. I'm not really reaching too far to say that, but I didn't know really what the difference would be until experiencing what it's like when it doesn't drop. Basically saying you can do whatever the hell you want and you're going to be able to perform any way you want the following day. Lucas Parker at one point said something in relation to the worst thing about a performance enhancing drug being that it would help people promote shitty training protocols, because he was aware of people using performance enhancing drugs in the sport of CrossFit. Those people also had training programs. People would see how that athlete would do in the sport, and then they would follow that training program, but that training program had no ground to stand upon because the people who were doing those workouts probably were not using the same performance enhancers that the person who was writing the workouts was, which means that they weren't able to keep up with the volume. They were not able to recover. They didn't have that ability to not sleep or not do anything off kilter. And that's a big issue in the sport. Now I see exactly what that is like. He was spot on with that. And I think I heard that, 2014 or 2015? It stuck in here. And the other thing that I had done when I was over in California is I had a amniofix injection. Basically, they take placenta, they spin it down, and they inject it into your elbow. The best thing that you can correlate it to is a stem cell replacement therapy, but it's not stem cell replacement therapy. And the whole reason I started up with California hormones in the first place was because of my elbow. I said I would do anything that I could to get my elbow back on track. The owner of California Hormones said that they would be able to help, and it's working because I have a workout written on the board right there. I made mention of this 4 or 5 months ago. I wrote it down. It's called the Batman, and I did the Batman today. It was a workout that I was not able to do due to my elbow. I had surgery. I went through a shitty physical therapist. Actually, it was 5 of them. It was a team of physical therapists. I think that was the issue. I didn't really have too much of a connection. I had to keep on telling them what was wrong. It's like, oh, so what's wrong with your elbow? It's like, well, I told him, her, and him. How are we supposed to get any better if none of you know what's going on with my elbow? So I left. I've been working with 2 other people that are very good. They're very helpful. And along with what I've been doing with California Hormones, which is the testosterone replacement therapy, the Semarelin, which is a peptide that you inject, and it's supposed to increase your growth hormone, just signals to your brain. It's like, hey, produce more growth hormone. But I inject that before I go to sleep, which, by the way, this is something that is challenging for some people. They don't know. They're afraid of needles. There's some sort of a stigma against them. California Hormones has taken a step to make this less scary, less challenging. The barrier for entry has dropped, if you will. They've done that through your monthly package that you receive. Everything is preloaded. You go to the doctor, they have the vials, they have the syringes. There's a procedure that you need to go through, and nobody knows what that is. That's usually why nurses go to nursing school. They pick up on that stuff. In the package that you receive from California Hormones, I think I talk about it. Maybe I'll play the clip right here. You get this box in the mail, you get this once a month. This is included in everything that you'll do, and it makes it pretty freaking easy. And I've really never seen this before. By the way, if you're looking at that, I just had my blood work done. So we're gonna see how I'm doing about 6 weeks into my testosterone replacement therapy. You'll see right here, you've got a series of syringes. 1, 2, 3, 4 testosterone syringes, and 1, 2, 3, 4 B vitamin syringes. I believe they're B12 vitamins. Yes, they're B12 vitamin syringes. Along with the alcohol swabs, everything listed up here about what you gotta do when you are injecting yourself with the testosterone. Each of these comes preloaded with your medically prescribed through the doctor amount of testosterone determined upon your blood work. So right now I'm kind of refining how much I've done. I'm doing 100 milligrams on Monday and on Thursday, or Sunday and on Thursday, and I'm trying to hit that threshold of 1100 nanograms per deciliter, which is supposed to optimize my hormones. But in the package, you'll see on the box that it states what exactly you need to do in the order that you need to do it. It also has the syringes preloaded, very neatly placed for you, along with a little spot with the alcohol swabs. Bing, bang, boom. You're done in no more than 30 seconds. And I'll tell you what, that 30-second shot twice a week, 1 minute twice a week, to feel the way that I feel every single day, it's freaking incredible. Will you do this for the rest of your life? Was there any worry about it? Do you feel any negative side effects? If I don't drink caffeine, I feel negative side effects. I get headaches. I'm sure if I were to stop taking the testosterone, my 1053 nanogram per deciliter level that I just had read would drop significantly. And then I would probably feel some negative side effects. I feel freaking great. I wanted to turn into the Terminator.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. You forgot to say please.
And I feel as if I'm turning into the Terminator, because the workout that I did, the Batman, not something that I would have been able to do after essentially taking 6 months off of training, having my elbow say, okay, you can do this now, and then just going to do it. Let's just say that it's really heavy. Take 6 months off of training and go on a walk and you'll probably get sore. I don't think I'm gonna get sore from this workout. When I plug the workout in, I think I'm gonna have it up on Thursday. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's like, how the fuck did he go basically from nothing to this? I have been doing workouts. I saw it, I put one of them up with Souza in the video that I did with us sitting on the beach, and if you look at me, I look like a freaking truck. I'm not quite as lean as I used to be, and I think I'm holding a little bit of water. That might be from the increased growth hormone, from the semarelin, which is the peptide that I mentioned. But on top of possibly having a little bit of water retention, which is no big deal, my body fat levels are probably closer to 12 to 13, maybe 14%, when in the past I'm used to having them in about the 10-9% range, and it's because I sit in this fucking chair all day. But like I've mentioned, I want to work out more all the time. If I don't work out, I kind of get anxious. There's like a little bit of a come on, go do something. Put yourself through the freaking ringer. It's like you're an animal, right? The dog wants to go on a walk. It's like, go, bring me outside. Let's do it. Kind of how I feel often now. I'm being confined to the computer, confined to the freaking chair. It's like, let me go. And if that's a side effect, it's one that I like. It's one that maybe the entire world needs. The one that tells you to get up off your ass and go do something. Because in the world where people will be like, in the water bottles, you're going to drink a bunch of BPAs and it's going to drop your testosterone, and you're going to have seed oils and it's going to drop your testosterone. Look at the blue light too long, it's going to drop your testosterone. Like, yes, of course, it is better to not do those things. Don't use deodorant. The aluminum is going to drop your testosterone. The tap water, it's going to drop your testosterone. Everything's going to drop your testosterone, and really, how likely is it that you're going to just not do anything ever again? You're gonna go live in the fucking woods, shield your entire house from the freaking cell phone towers, not put the cell phone near your pocket because it's too close to your balls, and when the cell phone's too close to your balls, it's gonna atrophy them, shut them down. And just like it's better to get a full night of sleep, life gets in the way. Things need to be done. I need to look at this freaking computer all day. I need to drink water. Where am I gonna get it? How do I know if it's even tested? Am I gonna spend a fuckload of money to get my water tested to make sure that it's not gonna drop my testosterone? Am I going to be walking on pins and needles the rest of my life? Or would I rather just take an injection twice a week? Sounds weird when you put it that way, but follow along. I've only seen positives. Stay tuned until I'm 80 years old. I'm sure I'll still be alive and kicking. My dad's on it. My dad basically went from being a shell of a human being into, I can 100% say, the best version of himself. He's 61 years old. I've known him for 31 years. At no point in my life have I seen my dad as happy, as young, as active, as lean, as strong. But the big thing in there is his mental clarity and his happiness. It's wild. He's so happy. Travels everywhere. He looks forward to doing stuff. Can't put a price on that. We're all gonna die, right? There's no studies saying that testosterone replacement therapy is going to end your life soon, but I'm 30 years old. If you said, Andrew, you can have 40 awesome years or 50 years the way that you saw your dad compared to the way that he is now, I bet he would have done it at my age, because I'm about as old as he was when I was born. And at him at 61 is better than I remember him 35, 40, 45, 50. And that is something that I want for me. That's up to you. I'm not a freaking doctor. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll be doing more of these. Link in the description if you want to get your blood work done for free. That is if you're in the California area. Go on into the clinic. They'll pull it for free. They'll tell you your numbers. I was at 1053, formerly 733. If you are out of state, you'll get on the phone to the doctor, consultation. They'll write you up a script to go to your local lab. They'll pull your blood work. It's still free as long as you have insurance. I'll keep you posted. Andrew Hiller out.